So next up we have David Denison. David Denison of the Barony of Galtier in East Waterford. David has been involved in food for quite a while in Waterford, and significantly involved. He had a very famous restaurant here in Waterford for many years, and has since started making cider on his farm in Dunmore region. I suppose you might be familiar completely with Galtier, a beautiful part of the world, very temperate, really good climate, and a great energy and enthusiasm behind this product. So it's a cider, Viking Irish cider. Lovely name, lovely link into Waterford's past history. And David, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much, Julie. It's
great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So David, you have a long heritage in food and drink. But
yeah, it's been a passion for kind of too long, 38 years.
Oh, that's good. The oldest fiddle.
Yeah, but it's great. Like, it's kind of come full circle from sort of restaurant wine importing to producing.
That's where it started. You started importing.
Yeah, and it's been you learn a lot from these people, and now we produce. So it's a different ball game. Yeah. Producing yourself and selling, but very exciting, never a dull moment.
Absolutely.
Full on, and there's lots of different, and particularly with the ciders, because cider really has been sort of, maybe, I wouldn't say the second cousin to beers, but now it's really up there.
Huge welcome for cider.
Up there. Yeah, it's
well,
up there.
Particularly Irish craft cider.
Irish craft cider.
Well, in fairness, now English cider has always had a great heritage, and they managed to hold on to that. But I think maybe we lost ours a little bit along the way.
A little bit, yeah. And I went to Somerset and Devon and Cornwall and sort of looked at what styles of cider they were doing, and it was interesting. Like they're, as passionate.
Absolutely.
Really passionate about their product, and very kind of all their ciders are different, and their recipes are kept kind of very secret.
Yes, absolutely.
And, but they do share, and it's
very vibrant. Well, I think in Ireland that has happened, but I think definitely in England, like it's really fun to follow a lot of the cider drinkers online and stuff.
Absolutely, and it'll become like that here in Ireland as well.
Yeah, I think that has, and with great thanks to the likes of yourselves, which again, it's getting up and started now. Is your family from a farming background, or are you always interested in food?
No, we're not really from a farming background. Interested in food, yes. My mother was big into gardens and growing. Like she would had a prize rose garden, and dabbled a bit in making different types of wines from country
so you would have grown
wines.
up around that.
Yeah, very, very much so. I actually have a recipe for another product that we have coming, which is her recipe.
Lovely.
Which
That's
is interesting.
Really good, because you're Midlands, aren't you?
We're Kildare, Kildare originally, but we're Waterford though. We're from the Dacia.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, no, I think that, and I mean, I've worked with your daughter, Ciara, who's travelling at the moment.
She's in New Zealand,
fabulous cook and a great adventurer, and it's really a strong thing in the family.
Passionate, really.
Oh, she's totally fabulous.
Yeah. But it's interesting with cider, with craft cider, how kind of you can mix and match with different types of food.
And you've been very innovative there, because your first product, which is the original, the blue label here.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That was a little bit of a departure, because it's very dry. Might for cider drinkers, often it's the sweetness that they're chasing. So this was something different.
Yeah.
But by goodness, does it have its followers?
It does, and we try to keep the products as natural as possible. By not sort of interfering with the, like, I suppose, contrary to, say, the likes of beers, where they use a lot of different types of yeast, we use the natural yeast from the apples.
So they're all naturally fermented, really?
All naturally fermented, and you get that kind of terroir coming through, kind of that sort of unique flavours coming through.
From that particular microclimate that's in that area, and even the way you handle the products.
Like we kind of keep it, the use of sulphurs and things like that, we keep to an
absolute minimum.
Like we work with pH and acidity to get the balance of the actual the product.
It has to be palatable. I mean, and the apples are, they can be a movable feast. As you said, this you're just going into harvest at the moment, and different crop again, but very bountiful. Yeah,
it's going to be an intro. Like it's a bit like wine in many respects, because you're dealing with a very raw material. and the seasons and the climate really plays its big part with the product. And so this year it's going to be interesting. We're going to have big crop. Sugars are not going to be in abundance, but we're going to make a very balanced cider. Like at the moment, we'll be making the Harvest Blush, which is kind of
so let's actually, while you're on it, we'll have a little chat. So tell us a little bit about this one, which really is quite out on its own. Do you want to have a little more?
Like the Harvest Blush really is something, again, I just came up with the idea of having something a little bit different, a little bit of fruit in it. So we use our own black currants in this one.
Yeah, that's great.
And and again, the apples we use are Katie, which that's what we're harvesting at the moment, and James Grieve. So the two of those are really early apples. Yeah. They're big, juicy apples. And again, getting the blend right with the black currants wasn't that easy, because too much black currants, you take away the flavour of the apple.
Yes.
Too little, and so it's a very fine
balancing
line.
Act,
So no 2 years are going to be the same.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Absolutely.
So we, we're not trying to be kind of uniform in that. And like we compare this, you can drink this like a sparkling wine for all the world in a champagne glass, and you can have a bit of fun with it.
It would be beautiful as at a celebration or something, taking away from even from the fuller bottle, but just smaller amounts in a. It'd be like a Perrier or a champagne, really. It'd be a beautiful starter.
It was interesting. I was doing a tasting in Arkeen Stores, your abode, and last year, and there was a woman, and she was taken with it, but she came back and she bought 2.5 cases. Of the cider.
So that you could use it for a bigger occasion.
It was for graduation.
Oh, lovely! And I mean, actually, you get a lot of people coming in looking for something like that, and maybe even something, lighter in alcohol, or where there's maybe someone who's coming to alcohol for the first time, and you don't want to be coming in with something really strong or heavily sugared. So that would be ideal.
And it was funny. I met her afterwards, and she was saying it was for her daughter, and her daughter was saying, "Oh, Mum, heard you get that prosecco." And
Great.
She didn't know, but the low alcohol was the key to what.
Absolutely, I think when you're celebrating, you don't need anything high alcohol. Will we have a taste?
I'd give
That'd
it
be great.
Give it a little open here now.
And actually, while David's doing that, I'll just a time of the day I love to have this drink. Actually, is after work. You come in, you're thirsty. You're not necessarily planning on having a drink for the evening, but you just feel like something to mark the end of the day.
Absolutely,
and actually, particularly even in the past couple of months, where days have been busy and a little bit unusual, it's lovely to come in and have a drink, but it needs to be a drink that's light. That you're probably a little bit tired and stuff. To have something like this, it's a really lovely way to mark it, or share a bottle. You don't have to have the whole bottle. So what I've paired it with here is actually. The meze crackers.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
brilliant.
Meze, we all know, fabulous food producer, focusing on Middle East. Started kind of in a market stall, have built up a fabulous business in Tramore, and really positive. Beautiful food offering. Lovely couple with a young family, very busy. But this was their first product that they brought out was the lavash, and so lavash is basically a flatbread. So there's no raising agent used. And this one that we're tasting today was their first, and it's the flour used is spelt. And seed. So there's nigella seeds in there, which give a lovely kick. But spelt is a great flour. I don't think we use enough of it. I would substitute it for main flour in most things because it brings a beautiful nuttiness to it. So home in the evening, feel like a drink, but dinner is coming, so you're not necessarily eating. So to have a little taste of a cracker with a little bit of nuttiness to contrast with the sweetness, I absolutely love.
I love them.
They're gorgeous. I mean, and also they obviously they're designed around meze and sharing plates, and so
Great
it's like
flavour.
having a cracker but without having a Dorito,
But you get that natural sort of nuttiness and
it's beautiful
flavour with it.
Well, first of all, we should taste the cider.
Absolutely,
Now this is lovely. So it's a real blush.
Yes. Well, it's very, very light, and again, it holds a sort of kind of a head, really.
It does beautifully. I can see that in a flute glass now, or in a big baby sham glass or something.
That's kind of coming from the actual black currants. That's because normally they wouldn't. Even though.
But it's very pretty.
So it's very light. There's a little bit of fruit.
Very very delicate.
Very delicate. You get that because I must say this is actually bottle conditioned. So we don't actually carbonate this.
Okay, so that's all.
So you're getting that little bit of yeasty note on
You are indeed,
on the nose.
So there's a little bit of toastiness kind of in there from the yeast.
Yeah.
People are, when they think that there's yeast in the bottle, sometimes it's like, what does that bring? But if you think of yeast and bread and toast, like you'd have it in oak or in maybe Chardonnays that have been left on their yeast cells, like on.
Very much so, yeah, and
similar.
So you're kind of getting that real appley notes, and yet the fruitiness and the yeast, they're all kind of combining together with.
And it's very refreshing.
Toasty, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Gonna have some lavash.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, just as these are cider's so food friendly. It'll work with all sorts of things. These are just ideas. And certainly in terms of focusing on local food, if you want to eat locally, there's an abundance of choice there now that
but you could have
wasn't always as
you could have these with anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're very
and once
versatile.
you go to them, it's very hard to go back. You won't want to go back to a regular cracker.
No, because I remember Nicola brought me out some a couple of years ago, because I had given them some leaves from the vines, from our grapevines, because they were going to do a dish with the.
Oh, lovely.
With so she dropped me out some of these, which was.
Yeah, and they do a few other ones. There's one there with seaweed, which would be beautiful again, but I just particularly like the spelt. I use spelt if I'm making a crumble or anything, because it brings this nutty flavours to the apples, and I think that does that there.
Absolutely, and you could do lots of different things with it.
And if you did want to have some meze starters, some hummus or some baba ganoush, or there's lots of these things that can be made up, like something with avocados or something.
All those
just while you're
things,
waiting for your lunch, and hopefully, or your dinners, hopefully someone else is cooking it for you.
So it's kind of snacking.
It's snacking. And I think that's the kind of drink it lends itself to it. If you came in there with a big banging high alcohol, chances are, as I've done on many occasions, you might care less about your dinner by the time you got it. And actually, what we also have here, which is really lovely, and this is from the Sea Gardener.
Oh yeah,
so
from Marie,
from Marie Power. Copper Coast, foraged, Marie's fabulous woman, bringing all sorts of lovely products to the market, and also bringing people to the product, as in her foraging trips down to the coast and stuff. And again, when you're coming in, these are, it's a bit like having crisps or a salty snack with something sweet in the evening. Just lovely. Yeah. And so good for you. These are full of iodine.
And full of iodine, and you get that sort of real earthy.
Absolutely,
sea
and yet
flavour.
the delicacy, because they're rustic. They're big in your mouth, but with the delicacy of the cider is lovely.
Actually, works quite well with it.
Very nice.
It brings out the flavour of.
It does actually, and I like sweet and sour. And again, you can try and match that they're alike, or you can go opposite. And again, it's very subjective. It's like wine. Something I'll recommend to you.
Everybody
mightn't be your cup of tea.
Everybody can have a bit of fun with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the other product is something that's very unusual. Tell us about this.
Okay, so this is our hoppet, we call it.
Yeah.
And
great
again,
name. Fabulous name.
It's something that I didn't really know much about it, and I started to read up about hop flavoured ciders, and I said, that could be something we could work on.
Are they a thing in the States?
Yeah, well, I went over to America to research it. And I went to New York.
Really.
Oh, it was terrible, it was hard going. So I just couldn't believe how many cideries were actually making hop cider.
Yeah, because no one was doing it here.
No, we're still the first, I think. No doubt there'll be more, but I sort of said, this could really work, and let's give it a shot.
It was brave of you, I mean.
Yeah, and it kind of took about 8 months to get the formula right with it, and so we use. In actual fact, there's about 2,500 hop cider clubs in America.
You're serious?
Yeah.
My goodness, it's time to start one then.
Dabble in hop cider.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I mean, similar equipment, similar, I won't say similar project, but you're going through the same processes. You're watching the yeasts,
That's right,
why not combine them?
Yeah, like it's sort of, it took me a long time to get the formula right, because I was using the fresh hops, so now we're using the pellets.
Right.
And we use Cascade,
Yes.
which is one of the hops, which gives a kind of a real kind of
nice
citrus.
Yeah.
Amarillo, which is the other one, which gives a kind of more moorish side to it. And then we use Citra, which is kind of really tropical.
Yeah. And these products are all now so much more available to you than they would have been, we say, 20 years ago. You would have been hard pushed to get your hand on these.
There's a lot of learning with hops, and because it's very much part of the beer process. And
I'm sure that's where the community comes in as well, that, it's important to have, you're working a little bit in isolation, and in a way some of these people are your competitors, but I presume it's good to be able to touch base with other people.
Absolutely,
a lot of learning, a shared learning.
Yeah, and we've got a great following. Like, we were only going to bring this out for Christmas of because we're only 2 years coming
you've
into
done a lot,
production, but now it's all year round, as is the blush. Blush will be sort of all year round as well.
And I love your design. I love the link back to the Viking. I think that's it's very distinctive, and there's something very chunky about the bottle. But certainly, the colouring is great. So well done on the branding.
Well, like where we actually have the orchards, they were very much Viking settlements.
Right.
In around there, because we're right just above.
Well, that's really bringing terroir to.
Yeah, it's near the estuary.
Full degree.
Yeah, and you kind of think about the Vikings sailing up and going up the Barrow, the Nore, the Shore,
and settling.
And
I mean, these were what they were drinking. I mean, they weren't drinking tea and coffee.
There were, I kind of researched what they were drinking. There were elements of apple cider, of ciders, and
meads, I suppose.
Meads,
and stuff like that
very much meads, and combinations of both. So it's a natural product. So will I open this?
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
And so what we've paired here is beautiful cheese. Again, from the Cappoquin part of, thanks David, part of West Waterford. So this is Wolfgang and Agnes, I hope I'm saying their surname.
Van Schliebich.
Van Schliebich. David has a better pronunciation than I had for it. So these are a couple that came from Germany in the, I think the 70s, settled and brought with them that lovely food heritage of cheesemaking that is so important in Germany, and that happened in places like West Clare and West Cork, and to some degree here, but maybe a little bit less. So how lucky are we?
We are lucky.
This is sensational.
Yeah, we are lucky.
Yeah. This is as good a sheep's cheese as you will find, and you'll find it in places of note, and you'll find it in people's kitchen, which really is the most important thing. If you find it in someone's fridge, I think that's a real measure of the product.
Yeah, well, I think your passion for that is very much, it comes through, and that's really their passion. So you're kind of betraying their passion.
Well, hopefully, but I mean, it's when you have a good product and you look, and even before we started, like both of us commented on the beautiful smell. Just I'm sorry we can't pass on the smell, but it's very available through Sheridan's, and many they have their own market. Not so sure what's happening with markets quite at the moment, but certainly very accessible. So it's not Lara. And definitely, you've got to try this. And the thing with sheep's cheese is it's just so food friendly.
Absolutely,
I mean, think Northern Italy. All the fat content in sheep's cheese is higher than it is in cow's milk. And remember, they only have 2 teeth, so you're producing a lot less. So while you can drink it, it's less likely that you would drink it. So it usually goes into yogurts and cheeses.
That's right.
So you think of the fetas and all these beautiful cheeses that they made in those countries. So this is just great. But we're going to have a taste of the cider first.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah. So on the nose.
So talk me through.
Okay. Well, on the nose, you're getting again that little bit of tropical flavors coming, aromas coming through from the citra.
And
the citra
yeast, actually.
a little bit of yeast as well. And again, we use Katie for this. Katie and Vicky.
I love all the girls' names on the apples. And I noticed you mentioned a man earlier, but I do love, I'm always wondering, I wonder who Katie was.
Well, Katie is sort of a sweet, early apple, and it's more of a dessert apple, not a long-lasting apple. That's why you don't see it on the shelves in the stores, because it doesn't actually hold. Okay. Very thin skin apple. So
it's more goes into production.
Yeah, very much so. And then we use Vicky, which is it's a new Somerset bittersweet apple, which ripens at the same time as Katie.
Okay, that's convenient.
So it's really good to have that sort of.
And are they all put in together? Are they separate? Are they?
No, I ferment them together.
Put them all together.
Yeah, put them in together.
I hope they get on, do they?
They're great. 2 great girls.
Okay, so
again you get that.
Getting all those lovely.
And there's a little bit of spice comes through
definitely,
as well. Yeah, and.
It is, and you can. I'm getting the tropical notes already from the hops.
Again, you can over hop, you can under hop.
Yeah.
So the idea is to get.
I don't think you did either there.
No, it's
very smooth.
It's really smooth.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
In fact, I was nearly expecting the hops to be bigger, but actually they're very approachable. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like the blush, we want to try and keep the apples in the forefront because they are ciders.
And you did. Yeah.
And because you can have, there's a lot of fruit ciders on the market. Yeah. And they're just bumped up with.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't.
So it's just a balance.
I'd say your head mightn't feel too great after a very sugary cider. the next morning.
Very drinkable, easy.
Very drinkable.
Yeah.
God, that slips down.
Yeah, it's sort of nice, mellow flavour.
So I'll let you taste your cheese now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try it with
for sure.
lavash, yeah. Just to. It works really well with that.
That's instantly very relaxing.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful complementary going on there because they're both very smooth.
Yeah, very smooth.
There's no big thing going on that one is vying with the other for.
But the hop is it's so adaptable to food. It'll work with anything.
And even down to your Asian food, a curry. When you think of having a beer that's traditionally maybe we wouldn't have had wine with curries. And the alcohol content on this is 5.5. So really, it's great. And again, perfect over dinner to be sharing.
And again, working on the pH and the acidity, just to get the whole thing in balance and without having to use too much sort of sulphur and all like that.
Yeah, which is obviously people are so conscious of this now.
That's right, very much so. But that works really well with the cheese. Let's try it on its own. We'll try a little bit with Marie's.
Oh, that's great.
Delish.
Well, David, I have to hand it to you. You're innovative, and I know you're working very hard. And on behalf of all of us craft cider fans, thank you, because you're not just bringing one product. You're bringing three very different, and I think you're covering all opportunities for having a single drink or maybe having a few more or sharing it with wine. So best of luck. I know you've a few new products coming online, even non-cider ones, and hopefully we'll see them in the shops in due course. But in the meantime, cheers.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much.
Lovely.
Thanks,
cheers.
Julie. Thank you.